But nonetheless, it is a wonderful day to be here. God bless you all. For those of you that are viewing online, welcome to our live stream. We are really excited about what we call just this season of the year, because it's an opportunity not only to reflect, but it's an opportunity to just kind of redo some things, relaunch some things, reset some things. The operable word for 2020 is going to be alignment on so many areas. Now, I do have a plan today, because I know we've got a business session today, and there's a lot we want to just put in your hands. But aside from that, there are three things that I want to tell you today, and they're going to be covered in what we call your 2020 projections. But also, I want to just kind of entitle this kind of area, this kind of flow today, Balancing the Books. It's going to be quite interesting how we're going to arrive at that. But balancing the books. Now, when you hear somebody talk about balancing the books, you immediately go to what? Money. Money. How many aggressively in the room, you balance your books? We got one, a few people. How many you just have an idea what's in there? You go and you check your balance and you say, come on, be honest. I mean, some people got it like that. They can remember numbers, and they just go in and say, I know I got about this much in there, and every now and then they just check their balance electronically. How many of you still get paper statements? How many of you look at those statements? All right. How many of you balance with those statements? How many of you have ever caught the financial institution error over your statement? Okay. You know, it happens more often than you realize, okay? And I say that from my own experience. It's easy to, it happens in one of the church's commercial accounts that somebody has inadvertently deposited something in our account or withdrew something in our account, because the numbers sometimes are so close, and when you have people that are checking those things, you know, a lot of that's done electronically. Old school, you would have to balance that stuff right there on the spot, and you would know if stuff was missing. But now that stuff is done electronically, you can add a couple of zeros real quick or subtract a few. Used to be a time that they would call you if you got in trouble on your account. They call you before they started returning checks. And y'all remember that season? You said, no, they always sent my stuff back. Well, there was a season that they would pick up the phone and say, hey, we noticed your account was overdrawn today. Will you be making a deposit soon? Tell you what, we're just going to charge you for the overdraft fee, but we're going to pay all the checks that have been presented. They don't do that anymore.
No, sir.
Used to be about $10. Now it's 30 something. Each offense. And then they charge you for the number of days that the account is overdrawn. So balancing the books is really a lot of money. Now, you would think that in the age that everything is digital and technical, that why would they need to charge me $36? Because they can. And they're not ashamed to tell you that those fees are going up. How many of you read those little notices they put in with your statement saying, as of this date, we're going to adjust our fees? Some of us just say, it ain't going to happen to me. How many got debit cards? How many keep track of what you do with your debit cards? You see, the hands went down just a little bit. Debit cards are one of the worst. It's so easy to just pull 20 here, 50 there, 100 there, and not record. And all of a sudden, you think you got something in there. How many have a lot of ACH stuff, automatic withdrawals coming out of your accounts? Don't like them. Don't like them because as much as you sign a contract that they say on this certain date, they really, once you sign it, can take it out whenever they get ready. Y'all know that, don't you? They're not obligated to stay to that date. They can hit it 2 days before or 2 days after, and you overdrawn because you think you got a little time to get the money in there, and it's out. And you're overdrawn, and they don't care if you work physically in the bank or wrote the check. You sign an automatic withdrawal, and it's done. Tricks of the trade. Banks are into making money, your money. You say, well, why are you so hard? Because when we start talking about balancing the books, we start thinking about, okay, maybe I need to keep better track and better records of what's going on with my personal money. But it's not just your personal money that's a book that God's keeping a record and track of. Yes, sir. That's good. It's everything about us. Now, one of the things that I was really pressed at the end of the year, and the Lord just showed out what he does all the time, I was really concerned about how our books were going to just pan out by the time we got to the end of the year. Because you hear me saying all the time, you read the bulletin, I wonder where the money's coming to pay this and pay this and pay this. So when we get close to the end of the year, my mind's always already calculating how this is going to turn out. So just this past week, Joseph and I was in there where we were working on contribution statements, and he ran out a total. And something in me, as soon as he said it, said, that don't sound right. I said, well, how do you know that? We're talking about thousands of dollars. And immediately it's up in my spirit, because when you do it all the time, y'all not feeling it. When you're accustomed to doing it all the time, you could pretty much know that this thing's going to come out. Y'all not feeling me yet. Okay? So a process. So, you know, I was trained on a paper trail with financing. So what that means is, I know that if you balance each step, by the time you get to the end of the month, you're pretty much sure where it's going to balance. Right. Y'all know, right? It's like going to the grocery store hungry and you don't have a list. Right. You will probably get more stuff than you need because you're responding to hunger, not what you say you need. Right. So you come back with all this stuff and you get home with all this stuff and you still don't have what you need to fix what you need to fix because you need a grocery list. Right. Yeah. You say, where are you going with? Talking about balancing the books. How many of us look in the cupboard and say, what, do I have this? Before I go buy it. And then you get home and you look on the shelf and you got 5 of them. Right. Uh-oh, somebody knows something about that. He said, I know. Same nigga when you go shopping, say, boy, I like that shirt. And somebody said, but don't you have one like that? No, not like that one. I ain't got nothing like that. And you get it home, ooh, that's real close. Same exact. Man, how'd I get 3 of these? Y'all not feeling. You find yourself, because we like certain things, you find yourself buying the same type of things over and over again. Right? Now, y'all know by now, Paisley's one of my favorites. Yes, sir. Right? I'm going to have some Paisley somewhere up in there, seen or unseen. It's going to be some Paisley somewhere, because I just like it. To me, it never goes out of style. Right? So every now and then I'm looking around shopping around, I said, I don't have nothing quite like that. And I grab it. Only to bring it home and say, boy, that's real close to that jacket. Almost that I can pull this piece out of this and stick it with this and nobody will ever know it's a new piece. Repetition. What does that have to do with balancing the book? So we're sitting there balancing, we're looking at the statements and all this stuff, something and saying, that's not right. Now, there was a time when I first started doing the church books and records like that. It would take a little while to do it because we're not talking about close. I'm getting to the penny. Some of us say, I just want to be close. I want to be to the penny. Now, you say, that's kind of obsessive compulsive, isn't it? That you just, no, I want to make sure that somebody else have not made a mistake. Because what is close might be $20, $30, $100 somewhere, and you just, that's close enough, especially when you're dealing with a little extra. But if you balance it, you want it to the nickel. No, I got to know exactly where this is going. Right? So we're going through. So by the time, again, we have a system, and you said, well, why are you spending a lot of time? Because this is part of balancing. It's adjusting not what it looks like at the end, but we call them secret choices. Am I really putting enough thought into the decisions I make right now because they may not get me to where I want to be 2 weeks later? Yes. Come on, Bishop. Yes. So it begins with a deposit. We take the deposit. We balance against the envelope. And before we just pull the money out of the envelope, we make sure that the envelope, what's written on the envelope, matches what's in our hand. Because if not, you're going to spend minutes later trying to figure out where the discrepancy is. Well, if you just balance it when it's right in front of you, you say, well, why are you going through all of that? Well, that's each one. You say, well, that takes a lot of time. Well, if you're just trying to get done, are you trying to be accurate? That's right. You want to finish, or you want to be a good steward? Right? Go ahead. Zenith is one of my favorite television. Remember, they said the quality goes in before the name goes on. So before we sign off on those piece of papers, when we do those offerings that tell us who actually counted that, we want to make sure that it's correct because my name is on it. So when it goes to the bank, because we do it so often, I can tell the bank exactly what's in that offering if they should call me and say, there's something here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So by the time we get to the end of the month, since every week is balanced, then you're just combining every balanced week together in a monthly statement.
Right.
And what may take people 3 hours to do is about 45 minutes.
Right.
So if every month is balanced, you know what it's going to look like by the time you get to the end of the year. Are y'all feeling me yet?
Yeah.
So it's got to start somewhere. You need to decide, I'm going to wait to December of 20 to get my stuff together. I'm going to put some stuff in balance January.
Yes, sir.
So where are you going with this? Well, so we're going through the statements, So by this time, numbers. And I jokingly tell you all that I've asked, somebody need to show me the right numbers. Just show me how they're going to fall. I got some people that's going to handle the business for me. So what are you talking about? So I'm seeing these numbers all the time. So we're in there working with these numbers. And I said, Joe, that's not right. So well, what do you mean? I said, something's wrong in these equations. So mentally, we start going through. There's that. Okay, that's it. So why bother with all of that? Because when you're steward over somebody else's, you want to make sure that it's to the best of your ability. So something has been entrusted to each one of us. And we want to make sure that we're doing it to the best of our ability. And sometimes when you don't have other people checking that, it's easy to slide. What does that have to do with balancing the book? Well, our theme for 2020 is we are called to see. Specifically, when we look at Numbers, there's an individual that has come around Moses because Moses has been entrusted with this awesome stewardship of getting a people from A to Z, right? He's not prepared for all the problems trying to move people to one place. Several problems. Now, they didn't have those kind of problems in Egypt, but they certainly had some problems when they got free. So he's having to just kind of put some things in place I call control management. He's trying to control the stuff going in, and he's not doing a really good job because the weight of trying to control all this is basically on him, right? So Jethro comes along and gives him some wisdom and all of that, and Moses discerns that there is something in Jethro that has an eye to see what obviously he has been missing. You need people around you to help you see what you are missing.
Right.
Y'all not feeling me yet? It's that ugly word called accountability. We don't like words like that because, we grow. We don't want people checking up on us, looking at stuff, reviewing stuff, going over stuff. But it's a safe place. Matter of fact, the proverb says that with every purpose, it's got to be established with some counsel, and that's more than one individual. And counselors have to be objective. They have to be the individuals, as Moses was looking at the criteria for these people called elders, people that love truth. They're not afraid to tell you, that's raggedy. Huh? They're not afraid to tell you, that ain't going to work, that ain't going to go. They're not afraid to tell you, no, you might not want to do that quite just like that. No, that don't look as good as you say. My wife said, every end of the year, I said, I'm going to do something different with my hair. I want a new look. I mean, women do it all the time.
Right.
All right, so I followed her into one of those little shops one day, and I said, there's some stuff up there. I just wonder what that would look like on me. I've been thinking about, what a dark-skinned Moses would look like with this long hair coming down like this. I had to braid, but I'm thinking about the full, see, they saying right there, no. But see, I had to see it for myself. I wanted to see it. So I followed her into Bling Bling one day, and she was going around looking at some other stuff, and I asked the lady, I said, you see that salt and pepper thing right there about that? Bring it to me. Yeah. Well, y'all, I'm letting y'all into my room, and y'all just want to laugh at me. I'm trying to go somewhere about accountability with this. So I put it on, I said, See, and my hair will grow that long, but it's going to take it a minute to get down to here. Y'all feel me? So I don't want to go through that in-between stuff. Say with me, process. I just want to get from here to there. And the only way you can get from here to there is to get you an HIB. It's called hair I bought. Y'all not feeling me yet. So I put it on and I said, man, can I do something with this? Can you feel me? And they not quite. I mean, I'm just trying to do some stuff, you know. So I put it on, I said, I don't know. Wife come behind me, she said, why is this woman spending more time with you than she is with me? This is a ladies' salon. Why are you over here trying on this stuff? I said, I'm trying to look at an image. Didn't go. So I went to my barber. I said, look, I want to do something different. So in our barber shop, you know, in all races, all kinds come into the shop, and there's some charts. There's a few African-American charts, there's a few Hispanic charts, and then there's another chart down on the end. Nobody sits in that chair down there. So I go in the shop, and I said, I want to do something different. He said, well, look at these. I said, no, none of them is what I want to do. I want to look at this chart way down here on the end where my cousins are. I want to see what kind of dude my cousins are wearing down here. And they just started laughing and carrying on. Oh, Rev, what you going to do with that? Rev, your hair ain't going to do that. Rev, come on, Rev. And they just on and on and on. I said, look, why are y'all messing with me? I'm telling you. There's substance on this chart down here. So it's an ongoing thing that when I come in there and they see me strolling down the chart, Rev is on one of those places again today. What is he going to do? So I kept telling them, I said, look, you keep cutting my hair. You know, barbers like to cut. They don't trim, they like to cut. So every time I'm going, they're cutting more and more, and I keep telling them, my hair is straight. You keep cutting my hair, it ain't gonna stand up in no fro no more. It's gonna lay down. No, it ain't Ram doing it. I said, Sean, I'm telling you, my wife already think that I've got something else going on, that I'm losing hair back in the center. It's just how my hair grows. I'm saying, she thinks I'm losing hair, and I'm telling you, it's straightening out. And the more you cut it, the more it's gonna lay. No, it ain't. I said, okay. I just had to take him to Missouri and show him. So he did one of these cuts, and I could not do a thing with it. So I went in, put a little water on it, got that from my daddy, put a brush on it, and it laid down. And I went in, he said, Rev, what did you got in your hair? I said, water. He said, tell me you didn't put one of those kits. It's telling you this is my hair. It's going to lay. I don't believe it. I said, all right, comb it out. Combed it out. I said, you see, it won't go anywhere. He said, well, it's going this way. I said, because it naturally goes that way. So he sprayed some on it. He said, Rev, it's laying down. I said, you see that chart down there? I call it the Julius Caesar look. Pull it down like this. Y'all not in the room. So I had this little Julius Caesar. Y'all know who Julius Caesar is. I had this little Julius Caesar thing in. Now, I can still do it. I just got it rushed to the side. I said, well, what's making it lay down? Well, in Walmart, they got a little something in the other section called Tresemme. Okay? And it's like a mild holding gel. So when my hair is wet, put a little Tresemme on it, brush it, and it'll stay just like this until I touch it. So I pulled it down like this, and I went home. She used some phrases that one of our major denominations is fighting with today. And I went back to my barber shop. I said, my wife said, I look. And she said, no, you don't look, but you don't look you. I said, well, that chart that you're trying to get me to conform to is not who I really am. Y'all not feeling me yet.
There you go.
It may be my outward appearance, but it's not the origin and essence of who I am. As you saw by the more you cut, I lean more this direction than I do this direction. And because you cut it and didn't believe what I told you, now you have evidence of what I'm anyway, to make a long story short. There are things that get attached to us that try to alter our external image. And sometimes it's ideas. Sometimes it's what people project on us. Sometimes it's what we feel about ourselves. Sometimes it's things that the enemy has led us to believe about ourselves because we keep repeating this cycle of failure and obstacles and never get over and never get out and never break through. I called it in one of our nights of Judah Stood like a leprosy. It has altered our image to the extent that we no longer really understand who we really are. Wow. So we keep putting on stuff, trying on stuff, adjusting stuff, and none of those things fit, because ultimately there is a blueprint that's written in a book called The Plan of God, and until we align ourselves with that, we're always going to be trying to find something else to identify ourselves by. That's what I'm calling balancing the book.
I like that.
What do you mean, balancing the book? If you ever been amongst some lepers, I was talking to Ambassador Moss, and we were talking about the places that we're going to visit later on this year in Africa and India, that there are absolutely leopard colonies that we're going to visit. And he said, you talking about some people that worship that don't have what we have. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, no members. Some no hands. Some you never see their face. Very little voice. But the worship that's generated by their desperation is the most incredible sound you ever want to hear. I can only imagine. Y'all not feeling me in the room.
Yes, sir.
So what does that do? Well, leprosy for years had been a very degrading, a very marring disease, very visually adjusting, visually changing, almost to the extent that these people are those individuals that suffer that are unrecognizable. Right? Not to mention now that because your visual appearance has changed so much, what it's doing to the emotional side of you that does no longer want to be seen or recognized or in touch. Yes. The word dismemberment, as people are losing limbs and fingers and hands and all of that, how these things that we have allowed the enemy to attach to our person makes us feel sometimes so alienated and separated from people that really could help us. Yes, sir. And I believe that's one of the enemy's job in this is to keep me away from you.
Right.
Keep you away from me.
That's good.
Keep me isolated with people that are going to love me in spite of. Right? Thank the Lord we are in a church that people don't mind you got some stuff, because we all got plenty of stuff. But we're all working through stuff. But there's some places you would never let anybody know what's really going on with you because of leprosy. So what does it look like? What does it feel like to be amongst people but really never able to tell the people what's really going on with you? What is it really like to have to keep up an image over and over again, only to exhaust yourself trying to be that? Because that's how everybody wants to see you, but you never get to be who you really are. Right. Years of that. How many different people have we been in relationships over our life and conformed to the image of what they wanted us to be?
That's good.
Because they never could accept us, or we were never quite sure enough that we could trust them with who we really were.
Right. Good point.
How long? Well, here's one. If I could put it in a nutshell, go with me to 1 Samuel chapter 10. So we was wondering when you was going to give us a scripture. I'm going to give you a scripture there. I thought I was already there. 1 Samuel chapter 10. And these words are running so close to things that you have already heard. I just wanted to capture it in a verse here. In 1 Samuel chapter 10, we're going to be around verse 20, I think, Sir Thomas. And I'm getting there so I can give you a little bit more direction. You know Saul he was anointed. Y'all know that, right?
Yes, he was.
He was really the instrument of God, and even though he was never to be the image of the king that God wanted him to have, he was called of God to fulfill his purpose. He did have a book, the book of Saul, right? Saul's whole ministry, if I can sum it up, was to be the first so that the nation would appreciate the second. Okay? Now, Saul met all the exterior qualifications of what they were looking for, plus some, right? They requested him out of rebellion. He turned out to be rebellious, so that was one of those added benefits. All right, but there was a season in Saul's life where Saul tried to get out of this thing. Have you ever tried to get out of what you know God said to do? I ain't gonna say that. I quit being that person. So when I crossed over 2019, I quit telling the Lord, I quit saying, I'm not gonna do that, Lord.
Right.
I have now said, let me think about it. So I'm not all the way there. I'm not saying no, I'm not going to say, let me ponder this. You know, ponder is one of those good words. Mary pondered it, and Lord, let me ponder this in my heart for a moment. Now, I know it's hesitation, but I'm getting there. Because some of the stuff he tells me I want you to do, I said, Anyway, you there?
Yep.
So, 1 Samuel 10, we're there.
And when Samuel had caused all the tribes of Israel to come near, the tribe of Benjamin was taken.
Okay, let me just kind of tell you where we are. Saul has already had an encounter with the prophet. So he already knows that he's to be positioned in this. And now we're at the season that he's about to be presented before the people as the king, right? Now, you've already had your one-on-one. God's already told you what you want to do. And now we're about to just bring you out on stage. What you going to do? Okay, you ready? Now.
And when Samuel had caused all the tribes of Israel to come near,
yes, sir,
the tribe of Benjamin was taken. When he had caused the tribe of Benjamin to come near by their families, the family of Matra was taken, and Saul, the son of Kish, was taken. Mm-hmm. And when they sought him, he could not be found. Therefore they inquired of the Lord further, if the man should yet come thither. The Lord answered, behold, he hath hid himself among the stuff.
So they sought for him in verse 21, and they couldn't find him. So they went and asked the Lord, where was he? And you know what the Lord said? Yeah, that's a bad thing when the Lord said, I know exactly where you are. Right. It's not the first time somebody tried to hide, and God said, I know exactly what you're hiding behind. Right? He said he hid himself where? Just need you to answer the question. Have you got some stuff around you that you're using as camouflage to cover up the real you? You don't have to answer today. Just think about it. Ponder. Do I have some stuff that has become my identification? And do I glory in the covering of it? Because it's providing me room to not do what God has told me to do. Julie said, that's not nice. That's what Johnny tells us. It's not nice. So why is that important? Because I believe, if we look at Hebrews chapter 12, the Bible starts about a voice that's shaking things. And this voice is shaking those things that cannot remain or can stay attached to our book that God never intended for us to be connected to. So he sends strong things our way to break us from these identity pieces that really don't define who we are. And let me be a little bit bolder to say some of these things that God sends are individuals of truth to say, how long you going to carry that? And why do you continue down that path when that's not really who you are? And it's obvious. These are individuals I call like Jethro that are called to help us see. See what? Not necessarily where we're going, but see who you really are. Amen. To help us navigate. Help us navigate. Saul hid amongst the stuff. Right? So this prophetic word came in our 3 days, and it was talking about decluttering. Y'all got some stuff? I got a lot of stuff. Okay? So I have, you say, well, you just need some deliverance. I am. Okay? But I'm going to deliver it into the hands of individuals that I know would appreciate. I have boxes of ties. Lord have mercy, Jesus. What you saying? I said I want one. You want one too? Okay, just one. And I didn't buy all these ties. So I don't want you to think that I went out and spent all this money. And I didn't pay, I don't think there's a tie that I own that I paid full price for. It's favor. People give me ties. Send me ties. Donate ties. Sure. Offering full of ties and offerings. That's right. Ties. So every now and then when I'm going through, I say, you know what? I need to move some stuff around. And just recently, in the periods between enlarging and decreasing my territory, I said, there's some things I can no longer wear. Let me just move them on. There ain't no sense in just moving it on without all the accessories that go with it. So all the ties and the socks go with it. That's all right. Right? But this is what happens. No sooner than it leaves, it all comes right back again, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So I need to get back into this closet and pull all my ties out to see what I have in duplicate or triplicate and sew them. Now, for me, what works better is not to just set them over in the pile, get all the recipients of these ties together and say, here's your pile. Take it, leave my house. Huh? Because, you know, listen, I'm trying to tell you something. For you to just put it over in the corner and say, I'm going to eventually take this somewhere, and 3 years later, it's still piled up over there. Know yourself. It's not going to leave the premises unless you take it out and take it where it needs to be. So I tell the people, come get it right now. Take it out. Move it. Cross over. Why is that? Because we'll hide it. And there's a lot of stuff going on with us. I feel you in the room. There are hideout places, hideout stuff, hideout situations, hide out unresolved issues. They're just piled up, and now we find great comfort in, I'm just going to hide right there. And the more you cover up with that stuff, the more you lose the essence of who you really are. And now you're struggling between the pile and the call. And you can't see it. Okay, you didn't like that. So what's the solution? All right, so that was one, hiding amongst the stuff. The two is back to this leper piece. Jesus said, you need to go show yourself to the priest. Right. Okay? So the approach was, Jesus was basically telling these lepers, in your deformed, marred, dismembered state, walk as if you know you're walking into a manifestation. So they went, right? You had to be cleansed of leprosy before you could be presented, because everywhere you journeyed between here and there was unclean. So what Jesus said, you've got to walk in faith in some of these places. So you've got to begin to tell yourself, I refuse to let this mar and this blemish be my identification badge. Wow. You got to get up from out of yourself and say, you know what? I'm tired of being this image. It's not me. It doesn't feel like me. You get up in the morning, say, who is this looking back at me? Right?
Right.
You just feel so unsettled all the time. And they started walking. And then one of them understood, say, hey, it's not a healing I want, it's another wholeness level that I need. I want to be fixed from the thing that's in me that keeps me repeating this kind of bad behavior. So he turned around and went back to the priest. And Jesus said, well, where are the other 9 at? Y'all know the story. Right? So that's in Luke chapter 17, but I want you to look at Matthew 6 just for a moment. Matthew 6, I believe it's verse 16.
Moreover, when ye fast, be not as the hypocrites of a sad countenance,
That's right.
for they disfigure their faces,
Uh-oh.
that they may appear unto men to fast.
Okay.
Verily I say unto you, they have their reward.
Okay. So imagine what I'm dealing with on the real me has a projection on the visual side that you see. Right? I know that, but I'm now using it to bring attention to myself or to make you think, or really I'm trying to throw you off because I really don't want you to discover what my stuff is. So I use this image to throw you off, and now I got you in a pity party. Oh, what's wrong with the bishop? Oh, somebody didn't bring him any black licorice. Oh, no. What's wrong? And I feed on that attention. It's not the kind of attention I need. I need some individuals to say, what's wrong with you? Huh? Really? Now look, I know everybody's not qualified to do that. You know, it's kind of like that thing I put out last year, and only a few of y'all said, yeah, we saw it was wrong, but we weren't going to say that to you. I said, what's wrong with y'all? Had me looking crazy. They don't know what I'm talking about. Huh? Said it's bad. You know, folks say, that's the Archbishop. He was supposed to be a great administrator. He put this right anything out there. We can't even read the words. How did that get out? Well, you got 100 people to read and just say, we ain't going to say nothing. For real?
Yes, sir.
Isn't that bad? He said, well, you're just not approachable. Come on, y'all. Y'all know me better than that. Well, you said keep your foot when you come down. I said, we ain't coming up there, but you come up with everything else. Why you can't tell me that look crazy? I just don't understand. And if you can't, tell somebody that's got access too. What is this thing that says the higher you go and the more titles you get, the less checked you ought to be? I don't know what that is. Okay? Luke 12. And I'm going to stop because y'all, Julie already told me to stop. Okay? This is what hiding amongst the stuff looks like. I have it on your sheet as decluttering, laying aside weights, and setting priorities. Luke 12, verse 18.
And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns
That's right.
and build greater.
That's right.
And there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods.
That's right.
And I will say to my soul,
That's right.
soul,
That's right.
thou hast much goods
That's
laid
right.
up for many years.
That's right.
Take thine ease.
That's right.
Eat, drink, and be merry.
That's right. So the boxes, I got all my giveaways in. Get bigger boxes. Get bigger boxes to hold more stuff so I can put more stuff back in that spot. Don't give it away. Build a shed so you put some more in it, isn't there? Why? Why? Get a bigger closet. Don't give that away. You might need that one day. Right?
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, y'all don't want me to go there, do you? See, I'm tired of being that. I'm opening up myself real plain, and I don't feel no bad to just come and you say, we just want you to just fillet it. Just put it out there. Okay? Around the season tires were coming, shoes were coming next. I have a preference to shoes. I like black shoes. Right? Love them. Right? Now, there was a season, y'all know back racks?
Yep.
When back racks was in the phase of deciding if they were going to close, they had a bunch of back rack outlet stores. Y'all not feeling it? In the outlet stores, and trust me, we sent the spies out. We knew where they all were. Up north, Iowa, Terre Haute. Y'all not feeling me yet? Now, my brother-in-law, Bishop Donald Clay, you hear me? Wears a size 7.5, 8. Guaranteed there was going to be some of them on the rack. I'm talking about Belvedere. Y'all know anything about Belvedere? Bakabuchi. Who? All that stuff would be on the rack. $29, $19. These are $200, $300 shoes. They don't feel me.
I know they don't.
They don't know.
But I do though.
You do?
I think I would.
I'm telling you. I mean, and you go there on the rack, and there they are lined up. Somebody said, store up for lean months. I mean, and you call it a bargain because they are ridiculous. But how many pairs of shoes can you wear in one season, realistically? Come on, ladies, you ought to feel me here. Archbishop, they're not talking to me, right? How many pairs of shoes can you realistically wear in one? Oh, Tim said one. One ever. Oh, well, we understand. No, next. No, but realistically, you know, and see, ladies, I'm gonna help you with something because men ain't gonna tell you. I understand repass shoes. Y'all know what I mean by repass shoes? Them shoes that look real cute, but you know you can't keep them on but out of the car into the church because then they got to come on. Brothers have shoes like that. They're not all as comfortable as they may appear. You put them on, you get them to match the outfit, then just as soon as service is over, we're trying to get out of that. All right, so you understand, all shoes are not all-day shoes. All shoes are not everyday shoes. Okay, so now you got more than one pair. But when you got so that you have a whole collection of black, and you're saying, what you looking for? Come get it. That you have become the outlet store yourself, that's a problem. That is a problem. When you're saying, folks, you don't have to go shop. Come see me. Huh? You'd have to go down like that. But what I'm addressing is an appetite. And if the appetite is not checked, it's not going to stop at a cheese sandwich. It's going to become something else because when you don't have room enough for this, it's going to change to something else.
Right.
Right? And you keep going and you keep going. Now, who's going to stop that? He said, well, we can only imagine what happened when you got that house and you had all them closets. That's another story. But it wasn't about the closet. It's about an identity that was sliding in, becoming or altering what I really wanted to project. And you know what? And if somebody's not close enough and love you enough to say, you better take a look at that. So watch this. Then I started noticing, and I don't call it a setup. I'm just saying you've got to watch it. So there would be times we would be invited to Tucson, and it's hitting at the moment that what is coming going on the sale rack for them is what I needed here. Ridiculous price, wasn't it? Ridiculous. It's like my hand started twitching. And see, I can. And see, no. I'm not saying it's sin yet, but something he said, I got to go to this store. I feel it. I would call him and say, we got to go. Ooh, we got to go. And here is the wisdom. There is something in that the Lord has spoken to me, that there's something there that I really need that's there. But then I say, but I really need to shop for him, and shop for him, and shop for him, and shop for them. And then I got to get a new bag to put all that in.
Yeah.
That's a problem. But that's how addiction works. It starts off like, oh, that's a good idea. That's really, somebody's really going to be blessed for that. But then what are you feeding in you? And that's subtle. And that's not sin, but where is it going? Am I thinking about where this is going? So I've got collections of pieces of luggage that I've had to buy to get everybody's stuff home. Did he say bring it to him? Now see, those are the people that cheer you on to say, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. And you need somebody to say,
We're going to help you get rid of it. We're helping you move it.
we're going to make this altar call real quick. So it's that accumulation thing that becomes disfiguring. So when I go now, it's like the apostle said, and where are you going shopping this trip? Well, I'm not going. You all right? Now, so they have connected now my MO to shopping.
Right.
Now hear me. The shopping is to defrag my mind. So I'm not just going by and I'm trying to change all these programs running in my mind, and that's just a distraction for me. You see what I'm saying? You ain't feeling me yet, huh?
That's good.
You all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm not coming down your street. I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so why you? Because all of these things is what I'm pressed with this year, that I'm calling balancing the books. God is really trying to bring some balance, some alignment to some behaviors, not sinful, but just might not be taking you where you really want to be.
That's good.
And this is the opportunity to put it in check. Come on, we're going to stop there. Oh, is that all right? Okay. Okay. All right. This is the altar call. We had some people over to our house during Christmas time, and this is what happens. Yeah, I need these. And this is what happens. They said they were telling the people about their church experience at Judah. And they kept talking, and said, somebody plainly tell them, said, they ain't gonna never open up the doors of the church. And that thing stuck me. They said, never. They said, the person told them, don't you be waiting for them to ask if anybody want to join the church, because they will never ask. So that person just kind of stood up on their own and said, we just need to make this happen. So we understand, that we just get caught up with us, and we forget what we call appropriate church manners. So here we go. For those of individuals, January 12, 2020, the year of our Lord, that have not officially joined our church, and you feel the Lord has spoken to you, and you know that you are a member, but you have not officially done that. Would you like to join the church today? And if so, just come right down here real fast so we can just kind of do what we're going to do. Isn't that nice?
Yeah!
Come on.
What?
Come on. We know you did. Yeah, I'm calling you too. Okay. Part of balancing the book. Now, I'm going to put you on the front street because you know we love you. We know we already consider you as members, but part of balancing the books, if God keeps a record, certainly we ought to keep a record, because there are some things that happen in our membership orientation that we don't want to just by chance hope that you get. We really want you to be able to sit at the table and make sure that everybody gets what they need. So this is a formal invitation for you to come and be a part of a new members orientation class. Now, those classes are going to be offered on 2 Sundays, beginning next Sunday morning at 9 o'clock and the following Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. And please RSVP so that we make sure that you're coming, so we have materials ready. And this is not to say that we don't consider you family. I just want to make sure that you get what you need so that you can sit at the table with all the family members. Call those things that are not as though they were. Okay? So if you would, just look at that, and we really want to put that. Myself and Lady Donna will be teaching the class, and that's not to say that those people that have been teaching the class before have not done an excellent job. We want to assume the personal responsibility to make sure you sit at the table with us and get what you need, all right? So please RSV back to us. God bless you, and look at your family. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Yay! Woo! Yeah! Okay. Yes.
Would you like to address online? They want to join.
If we have anybody that's viewing today and you know that God has called you to be a part of this house, this local assembly, and you felt that, you know that, you've been waiting for an opportunity, please, we would love to put one of these formal invitations into your hand and extend to you the right hand of fellowship upon the completion of that orientation process. So please reach out to us and let us know that you're interested, and we would be glad to receive you here as part of this local family in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you. All right. When that's smooth, when that's kind of smooth. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Consider yourself dismissed. We're going to break for about 5 minutes, no more than that. Give you a chance to get to the restroom, refresh yourself, get something to drink, and we'll start our business session. And those of you that we just extended membership to, you are welcome to stay. Don't feel like you've got to go. You know your family. Amen? God bless you. Ooh-wee.